How long do you need to learn Mandarin to be fluent? Introduction. Learning a language is something that needs a lot of practice and effort. It is because you entered new information in the brain without eliminating any space. It is an addition of information to be kept for a long time. You may never want to forget it. Language is something not easy to learn but difficult it is ever in mind. This is very important. You learned a language and didn't practice it and then you forget. What about a difficult language? Consider a language like Mandarin, one of the toughest languages in the world. The main reason is the inclusion of the characters and no alphabets. It makes Mandarin Chinese very difficult to learn completely than the languages that include the alphabet. It is not easy to be fluent in Chinese very quickly. It took a lot of time to learn and to be fluent in Chinese. Chinese needs a lot of practice to be fluent. People from Japan, Korea, etc., are quick to learn Chinese because they are used to remembering the characters. That is an advantage in learning. If you want to learn Chinese as an expert, there are 6 levels called HSK levels. The first level is for beginners and HSK level 6 is extremely difficult and for the experts. It takes a lot of time to learn up to 6 levels, even many years. In this article, we will discuss how much time is required to learn Mandarin to be fluent. Description. There are 6 levels of Chinese languages that needed to understand. Let us study them one by one. HSK 1. It is the beginning and first level to learn Chinese. It mostly includes an understanding of very basic Mandarin Chinese. The phrases that are part of this series are mostly used in daily life, such as how are you, have you eaten? A basic communication skill is part of HSK level 1. It is not something very easier for a beginner. The skills include speaking and writing of characters. It is a basic of how Chinese look like and what do we need to learn. As it is a beginner level but at least 2 consecutive months of practice to be fluent in it. There are books of about 15 to 20 chapters to master this level. HSK 1 should not be taken as easy from the term beginner level. It requires a daily practice of at least 2 hours. There are almost 150 characters to remember for HSK 1. HSK-2. HSK 2 is very complicated than HSK 1. Still, it is considered to be a beginner level. The main reason is that it included 300 new characters. These characters are designed such that it took more effort and more practice to learn them. This level is described as a level of limited working proficiency. That is not only daily life routine as common terms. HSK 2 includes the terminology and sentences from the working environment. It could take months to be fluent in HSK 2. Typically, there is a 4-month course with a lot of practice times up to 6 hours to be fluent in both level 1 and level 2. HSK 3. HSK 3 level is also called minimal professional proficiency. It is highly difficult than level 1 and needs the practice of a lot more new characters. That may be more than just daily life, and the character count goes to 600 at the end of level 3. It means now you have to practice levels 1 and 2 and 3 together so that you must not forget the previous lesson. You need at least 3 months more practice to be fluent up to level 3. Chinese characters are difficult and you can forget the previous characters you remembered quite easily, so you have to work very hard to be fluent up to level 3. HSK 4. HSK 4, also known as the level of full professional proficiency. It is where Mandarin becomes very hard. You have to take the stock of Chinese characters up to 1200 characters to pass the criterion of HSK 4. This level is normally the target of many learners of Chinese. Its difficulty is high and a person who passes this level is considered to be fluent in English. In China, you can get some benefits such as it increases your scores to get a Chinese green card. Normally it is called that after 1 year of continuous efforts you can pass this exam. It is considered to be a minimum time. Normally, it takes more than a year or sometimes years to pass the HSK4 level. This level is enough if you just want to be fluent in Mandarin. The 5th and 6th levels are very high and tough. HSK5 and HSK6. At the end of HSK5, you have a proficiency level of 2,500 characters, and at the end of level 6, the character count goes to 5,000 characters. This is a big level. The person who passes the HSK5 or HSK6 is considered to be someone who has a proficiency of Mandarin equals to or more than an average educated Chinese person. That means a person who learned these 5,000 characters can speak better Mandarin than an average Chinese. However, there are very few people who did that. Normally a 3 years course make you unable to pass the HSK6. It is a lot of time with a lot of practice. You earned a lot to achieve this level. Of course, if you are in China you can have any benefits of it. You can be an authorized Mandarin teacher as well. Conclusions. It can take about a year to be fluent in basic Chinese, but to increase the proficiency level above that needs a lot more effort. It includes the effort of years to become fluent in Mandarin Chinese, and according to Chinese people it is very important to keep practicing, otherwise you can forget what you learn. The character up to 6,000 needs almost 3 years of learning with a lot of practice. It almost took more than a year to become fluent in Chinese, HSK4, and then a lot more hard work to become an expert.